And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv.
Come to Harbor Cove Cafe, where the palm trees sway, where you'll find my types and zombies you'll crave. Your hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker. Tropical libations, feel the island vibrations. Taste the flavors that delight in our paradise of the night. Sip on sunshine in your cup, life's a breeze, so drink it up. Harbor Cove Cafe, where the aloha stays. Your perfect getaway at the end of the bay.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is a show where we talk about show business. Johnny D sitting, over there. Got to get these straight here. So, good morning, Johnny.
So if I do this, good morning, Scotty.
That's what you have to do, yeah. But just talking to the microphone and looking into the camera. Those are the best things to do. Connect with the audience.
Hi.
Hello, audience.
Hi, audience.
Thanks for paying attention to us. Real quick, I wanted to state something for the record. Harbor Cove Cafe is not open till 8 on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays anymore. They've switched to winter hours. So don't go out there expecting them. They are only open 7:30 to 2 at this point. So still got all the great food and the great cocktails. So go out there and then enjoy yourself a Godzilla burger and a Mai Tai. But I haven't fixed the commercial yet. So that's on me. But I wanted to set that straight there.
And we got to do a show from there.
We do have to do a show from there where they've asked us to do a remote from there, and we need to go out there and do another remote. So we'll do that some morning, not the ukulele morning. That would be a mistake because they have a ukulele show, but not a show. It's a get together once a month. And the people get out there and play their ukuleles and have a great time. So
here's a great idea.
Let's hear it.
When we get that scheduled and when we're going to do that, invite at least 2 of our listening audience to join us.
Okay.
So we need to come up with an idea so we can pick 2 winners, some type of a contest for them to join us.
Yeah, that people will just be falling all over each other trying to get that prize.
Well, yeah, because we got. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, we will do that sometime soon. So anyway, how was your Christmas, Johnny D?
I had a very nice. It was subdued.
Subdued?
Yeah, I went to Upper Ojai Christmas Day to be with some people. I call my family up there.
You call everybody your family, though.
Well, you're my family.
See, that's what I said.
And it was quite nice. Had a really delicious meal.
What'd you get? What'd you eat?
We had turkey.
Turkey?
Yeah, turkey with cornbread stuff or dressing, and some of the best mashed potatoes I've had in a long time.
Mashed potatoes. Oh,
they were not creamy, but almost creamy.
Got to have little chunks in there.
Oh,
a little bit of chunks.
And with the gravy.
I don't. What am I saying that for? I don't care. Just give me mashed potatoes. I don't care if they're creamy or if they're knobby or what. Just give them to me.
And Hawaiian dinner rolls.
Always good.
Oh yeah.
Did you put some Spam in them?
No.
That's good stuff right
there. What I like to do with those type of rolls, and I started doing this. You remember back in the early days of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I just asked him how his Christmas was. That's
And
all I asked.
The rolls that came with it
Yes.
were totally different from what they have today. But would slice them down the middle and put some butter in a frying pan and fry those biscuits or those rolls.
Sounds totally healthy.
And that's what I do. I like to do with the Hawaiian dinner rolls. If they're not sliced already, slice them down the middle and put some butter in a pan and just fry them. It just tastes so good. Soaking up that butter and
yeah, that's just that's just it's like a health food. It really is. It's very close to kale right there.
Oh yeah. Arteries hardening, which means good.
We had a little bit of a surprise at our Christmas because Josh and Andrea, for their first Christmas together as husband and wife, were going to come up Christmas Eve and then go back home that night.
Mm-hmm.
And that night they told us, no, we're going to stay overnight. Like, oh, so all of a sudden our plans had to be, massaged for everything to fit back into place. So but it was a nice surprise. And we were very thrilled to have them with us on Christmas Day. So nice. They left about noon, I think, because they had to get out to Santa Clarita to see Nosferatu, which they both loved a lot. They said it was really great. So I'm looking forward to going to see. Even my wife wants to see Nosferatu. So
yeah, that surprises me.
She would hate the lighthouse. She would hate it, even though she likes quirky movies. Mm-hmm. She would hate the lighthouse because it's way too edgy for her. And so that's why I didn't think she'd be interested in Nosferatu. But vampire movie, Willem Dafoe, Skarsgård with his prosthetic penis. Yes, he does a full frontal nude scene with well, he's a vampire, so you can imagine what that looks like. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to seeing Nosferatu and some other things.
Puts a whole new slant on going to suck your blood.
I wouldn't have gone there, but Johnny D did. That's all that matters. So anyway, we had a good time there as well. So that was we went to my mom's and she did a breakfast and we opened the gifts, and like I said, we had Josh and Andrea there, which was a nice surprise. So anyway, I also I've been doing this thing where I've been doing it with my reading. Every year I try to read a classic novel that I've never read. This year there were a couple of them, one of which was For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. Great book. Some of it doesn't age well.
It was a good movie too.
I'm sure it was, but I haven't seen the movie. I'm talking about books at this point, so let's not get me wavered here. But so anyway, I read that this year, and I'm trying to do the same thing with movies, which is why I didn't want you to jump ahead. But so I watched Casablanca for the first time in many, many years. I don't think I watched it since I was a kid, and as a kid, of course, thought it was kind of boring. But I watched it again, and man, there is a movie that deserves every honor it gets. That movie is just classic in every sense. The actors are classic. The photography is classic. The whole thing is it's almost perfect. It's just a great, great movie. And so I was really thrilled that you hate to see a movie that you like and then you see it years later go, well, that's not as good as I thought it was. Well, Casablanca was better than I remember it being. But again, I don't want to tell you how many years it's been since I've seen it. So I did the same thing this week. I watched Singin' in the Rain on Max, I think, had it HBO. And I had never seen Singin' in the Rain. Of course, everybody's seen the Singin' in the Rain segment with Gene Kelly going through the streets and doing his dancing and kicking at the rain and what have you. But I hadn't seen the whole movie. Well, there's another one that is worth every accolade that it ever received. That movie has got such a dynamic cast. The music is great. The dancing is absolutely stunning. I mean, sometimes you think these people are on marionette wires because they're so light on their feet. It's just amazing. It's Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, and Donald O'Connor are the leads. And Donald O'Connor is just great because he's just a little. There's a word I want to use, but I'm not going to use it. But he's just a little. He's a little jerk. And he's a nice guy and all that, and he's a pleasant soul. But he just throws in the insults at a rate that is just, he tries to slip them past, and sometimes they get slipped past, sometimes they don't. There's a scene where he's insulting or throwing an insult at the studio head in the movie, and the studio head catches him, and he's like, "Okay, I better back off." So, but anyway, the story, if you don't know it, is that Gene Kelly is the biggest movie star in the world. And he's been working with this woman in silent films for a number of years, and they're considered romantically linked, even though they're not romantically linked. It's part of their marketing ploy. So everything's fine and dandy. His movies keep getting bigger and bigger. And then what happens? The talkies happen. Now, Gene Kelly, he's got no problem. He flows right into the role, but his big star female opposite him, she has a voice like Jennifer Tilly doing Jennifer Tilly's worst voice. And that's not going to work for the pictures that they're doing together. So he falls in love with Debbie Reynolds, which causes some rift between him and, of course, his co-star. But they realize that Debbie Reynolds has a wonderful voice and a wonderful acting thing. So they actually dub Debbie Reynolds' voice over his co-star's voice, which, as you can imagine, leads to some distress. Last week we were talking about, because you love to tell the story because you're such a NASCAR fan, about NASCAR fans being athletes much more so than even basketball players. And you had that comparison about, I'm going to one you up here. I'm going to say that those dancers are better athletes than both of them. That, because I'm telling you, you watch those guys work, and not only are their feet a blur, but like I said, they seem to float on the air. They jump through windows. They jump through walls. It's just stunning, the incredible dancing that's going on in this movie. It was mind-blowing. And Shelley even said, this is a little too frantic for me. I'm going, I think that's the point. It's supposed to be, and many people consider Singin' in the Rain the greatest musical ever made. I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that it is, not saying that it's not, but it was stunning.
Was Singin' in the Rain based on a book also?
It was based on a play. Yes. Okay. Opening credit says it's based on the play by, and then you can see that as you watch it, you can see that it's got that play feel to it. But anyway, terrific movie. You can find it in a lot of places. As I said, it's on Max and HBO right now. I don't know if you can find it on YouTube, but it's worth taking a look.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think you can find it on YouTube, but you got to pay a price for it. But I also, the thing that's bothersome about recording something from HBO, because you don't tape things from HBO anymore. You record them. There's no tape involved. I always tell people, you don't tape, you record. And then I say, I taped something, and Shelley says, no, you didn't. You recorded it. So anyway, I recorded it, but sometimes their timers are off. And the same thing happened in Casablanca that happened with Singin' in the Rain. The last 2 minutes of the movie are gone. It just ends. I'm like, well, I want to see the whole movie.
Yeah.
And in both cases, this is sad too. In both cases, I was able to go to YouTube and look last 5 minutes of and see the endings of both of those movies. The thing that's sad about it is that later that day, I was going through some of my Blu-ray collection, and I found Casablanca. It's like, I could have just put my disc in and watched the end of it, but I didn't. So,
speaking of Blu-rays, which is basically, it's a high-end DVD, very high-end.
It's
because
better. Yeah.
That's what I mean. High-end.
You mean, you mean higher definition, higher definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which is both quality and everything else. And I'm interrupting you every time I can.
Yeah. Well,
okay, go ahead.
Was your name Johnny D? I'm wondering if our listening audience could find that at their local library to check out.
Maybe that's entirely possible.
I've checked out music and movies from the library.
And I bet that's a title they would have. I would imagine that it is.
I even have checked out old time radio programs from one of our local libraries.
Why would you do that?
Because I love listening to those things.
But I think you can find any of them on the internet.
Well, yeah, now I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
In the library.
Right. I gotcha.
But the supporting cast from that movie: Sid Charisse, Rita Moreno.
Yeah, Rita Moreno is so great to see her in that. She's got a smaller part, but still, it's like she's still around. And I have to tell this story every time somebody mentions Rita Moreno because I love this. Excuse me, sorry about that. When Spielberg was remaking West Side Story, he called Rita Moreno because he wanted her to be in the movie, and she told her agent, "Call him back and tell him I don't do cameos." So that message got construed, and Spielberg said, "No, it's a character we've created for you." Okay, I'll do it then. But I just love the fact that here's Rita Moreno. She's what, 90?
She's up there.
Yeah. And she says to Steven Spielberg, I don't do cameos. I thought that was great. Good for her.
She was born in 1931.
So she's 93.
93.
Yeah, good for her. She still looks great too.
Oh, and
I follow her on Facebook, as a matter of fact.
I remember seeing her in other movies besides that, where she dances. Great legs. Like Sid Charisse, great legs.
I wonder what movie she's. I don't think she dances in Singing in the Rain, but I could be wrong.
Well, she was also in The King and I, and I'm sure she danced in that.
Oh, well, you know what? I'll have to check. There's another one I'd like to see again. I did watch the Jodie Foster version of it, which wasn't bad at all. All right. So anyway, that's Singing in the Rain. I'm going to watch some more classic movies this year. I've got a lot of them on Blu-ray and DVD. As I was going through, I was like, I got, what is it? 510 to Yuma, 210 to Yuma, whatever it is.
310.
310. I'd get the number right eventually.
But which version?
Well, we're talking about classic films. So what do you think it is? The new one?
So the one with Gary.
Yeah.
Was it Gary Cooper?
I don't know.
I also think Gary Cooper was in
I saw
the Bell Tolls.
I saw the new one with, I want to say Russell Crowe, but that's not right, is it?
Batman. Well, Russell Crowe was in it.
He was. Okay.
But Batman was in it.
Christian Bale?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was just okay. The remake was just okay.
I enjoyed it.
Of course you did. You put a horse in a movie and give a cowboy hat and a rifle. And John, I like that movie. It takes place in space. Still good. It's a cowboy movie.
Yeah. I love all these, especially these old movies, the black and white ones that are based on books, like To Kill a Mockingbird. I hope they never remake that, because that performance is by all those actors in that movie.
I don't know. There was a stage play that went around recently. And I feel terrible about this. John Boy, what's his name? Richard Thomas. I had to go through that in order to pull up his name. He started it and got rave reviews, and the play got rave reviews. It was a stage play version, of course, and it was written by Aaron Sorkin. So, I kind of would like to see that movie. I kind of would like to see that, but I know what you mean. Don't screw around with it. Don't stunt cast it. Mm-hmm. Don't put. I was going to say Robert Downey Jr., but he'd be pretty good at that role. Yeah. Don't put. I can't think of anybody, but you have to do it seriously, and you have to do it with love, and you have to do it with the same level of intellect. That's another classic book I'm going to read this year. I'm going to reread To Kill a Mockingbird, because I want to read the sequel next. When a Watchman Comes, I think is the title of it. I heard bad things about it, but I still want to read it just so I can say I did.
I have that book.
Do you?
Would you like to read it?
Well, I have my own copy.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yes.
Never mind.
I actually found a copy of both of them, as a matter of fact, at the thrift store. To Kill a Mockingbird and Comes the Watchman.
Hardback or paperback?
The Watchman is a hardback.
That's what mine is.
To Kill a Mockingbird is a paperback.
I haven't gotten To Kill a Mockingbird yet, but I eventually will. I may have to break down and buy it off the internet.
Just you want a hardcover.
Yeah.
Good luck on that. That's going to be. It's possible, but I had a major find at a thrift store the past couple of weeks there. I was thrilled. Big fan of Lee Child and his character Jack Reacher. Mm-hmm. And I was at the bookstore, and I've got all the Jack Reacher novels in paperback just so I can read them. And I don't read them as often as I want to, because I'm at the point now, there's only a few left, and I want to have these books. Lee Child quit writing the books completely, and his brother has signed on, and his brother is now writing most of the books with Lee's input, of course. Andrew Child is his name. Well, I was in the bookstore, and they had a copy of a Lee Child book. I don't remember the title of it, but it was one that was written by Lee and Andrew Child. And I opened it up, and I looked at the front page, and it's signed. And then I looked back at the front, and there's a sticker on it, signed edition. And it's signed by both of them. So I bought that sucker $3 for the hardcover. And I went home and I Googled their signatures to make sure I wasn't getting ripped off. And it looks like I didn't get ripped off. So I was thrilled to find a Jack Reacher book signed by Lee Child and Andrew Child. So that's the kind of stuff you can find.
Which title?
I don't remember.
Because I recently got a Lee Child book now, and it's paperback, and I can't remember what title it is. And the only reason I got it is because I want to get caught up on the Jack Reacher, but I want to start it from the beginning.
We haven't read any of them, right?
No.
Yeah, so you do need to do that.
And
It's this one here, Better Off Dead.
Do I have that one or not? I can't remember which one it is that I have, but I'm also a big Vince Flynn author.
What's his character's name? Matt
Damon. No.
Oh
man.
Mitch Rapp.
Yes. And unfortunately, Vince Flynn passed away a few years back. And I love his writing.
Is somebody else writing his books now?
Possibly.
I bet they are.
But
I mean, Dirk Kussler took over for Clive Kussler.
I mean,
so
I don't mind. Well, the same thing with Tom
Clancy.
I was going to say Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah. But maybe, some point.
He passed away, and other people are writing.
Yeah.
I don't mind that happening as long as they write it in the same style.
With Kussler, he built an empire. He's got several different storylines, and the storylines that contain his main character, Dirk Pitt, are the ones that Dirk Kussler is writing. The other ones are written by people like the Numa Files, and there's some other journeys, let's say, different characters, different time frames. One of them takes as a detective from the 1800s or early 1900s. Very interesting stuff. So I don't mind that at all because it's not the main series of books. But you're right. If I got a Dirk Pitt book that was written badly, I'd be disappointed.
Right.
And that's one thing that Ace Atkins has done. He took over for Robert B. Parker, who, as you all know, is my favorite author. And he does a really good job at keeping that character and the rest of the characters, not only in their original frames of mind, but also the prose is a lot like Parker's prose. So that helps a lot too. He quit doing that, by the way. He wanted to focus on his own books. More power to him. I think that's great.
I also have a few books, excuse me, a few books written by Richard Castle.
Yes.
Not only do I have most of the Heat collection, I'm looking for the Storm collection. Now, there's not that many of them out there, but I do want to get them because...
See, this is going to make you really mad because at a thrift store, I got the Heat omnibus. It has all the Heat stories in one book.
Oh.
So, yeah, but there's so many of these Richard Castle books. I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah.
And it looks like they were actually written by Tom Straw, because Richard Castle, if you don't know, is a fictional character. But I've never read any of them, so I don't know.
But one of the things I liked about that show, whenever the character Richard Castle, played by Nathan Fillion, whenever he would have his buddies over for poker, and they were by their real names, authors.
James Patterson was one of those. I can't remember the other ones, but yeah, that was always fun. I missed that show. Castle was a good show. I understand that things didn't end well between the two leads.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but
yeah, that is a shame.
Yeah.
But speaking of books, did you know that even though Christmas is past, we still have New Year's, and in February we got Valentine's Day. So I can't think of a better Valentine's Day gift than a book by R. Scott Bolton.
Nothing says I love you like Death in the Mogul.
Exactly. And then, or Dead Dick. That is a great.
That's a perfect one for Valentine's Day. Yes.
Anyway, go to Amazon.com.
Speaking of Nosferatu.
Type in R. Scott Bolton, author, and you're going to pull up a lot of books. I didn't say polytheral.
Thank goodness.
Oh, I just did.
Yeah, you just did.
But yeah, like I said, my favorite book by Scotty, our very own, sitting across from me. Hi, Scotty.
Wrong way.
Oh, hi, Scott.
That worked.
Hi, Scotty.
There you go. Now you got it covered.
Is Dead Dick. Not taking anything away from the rest of Scotty's books, but that particular book, I didn't want it to end. It was just so so good.
I never wanted to do a sequel to Dead Dick, but then it kept gnawing away at me. And I finally thought, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So I wrote the sequel this year. It's not quite finished yet. It's got at least a year before anybody else reads it, but I'm kind of happy with it, even though it's absolutely, utterly ludicrous, just like Dead Dick was. It's got to be that way in order to fit that mold. So, but anyway, it's called #Hellstrong, and that'll be out probably 2026 would be my guess. I do have 2 books coming out next year. The first is The Bowling Bag in the Backseat, which hopefully will be out by March. And the second one, we don't know which one we're going to released yet.
That's an interesting title.
Yeah, it is a good title. I think to get people's attention. But it'll probably be released in September or October of next year. So we'll see. And I also want to write another horror novel. I've got a great idea for a horror concept. It's kind of Evil Dead meets Unforgiven.
Ooh.
It's kind of weird, I know, but anyway. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about Singing in the Rain real quick. And then I wanted to talk about this new movie directed by Clint Eastwood. And the movie is called Juror Number 2. Here's a still from Juror Number 2. As you can see there, it's a cast of characters. A great cast all the way through. Let me pull up the Internet Movie Data page here so I can give you all the information. Eastwood was 94 when he directed Juror Number 2. There's been a lot of controversy about it because the studio kind of shot this one in the leg. They released it in theaters. It did better than they expected it to do, and they still pulled it. They didn't let it have a regular run. This movie could have made a ton of money, I think. Everybody that I've talked to loves it. I'm curious what the box office was. And, you know, a lot of people sadly are saying it's probably Clint Eastwood's final film.
I don't remember this movie.
It just came out. Well, that's kind of the point. The studio kind of let it die. Juror Number 2, the box office 21 says nothing for domestic. Well, that's not true. But overseas it was $21 million. So I don't know where the domestic figure is because it did play in theaters very briefly. They probably don't post it because it was ridiculous because they like I said, they killed it. Anyway,
maybe they plan on releasing it after the first.
No, it's on Max now.
Oh,
so that's where I saw it. I saw it on Max. So anyway, there's some controversy about what the studio did for that, and a lot of people are really upset because they say after all Clint Eastwood had done for Warner Brothers throughout all the years, you treat his final film like that. A film that is got, you know, the critics were pretty good reviews, but the audiences love it. And that's the real key here. So this is the story of Juror Number 2, and I'll try to give away as little as possible. But Nicholas Hoult plays a juror who gets put on a jury, which of course makes him a juror. As the case starts to unfold, as he's hearing the case against this person who he's supposed to be passing judgment on, he realized that the guy didn't do it. And the reason he knows the guy didn't do it is because he's the one who did it. So here he is on this jury with a man's life in his hands. He knows he's not guilty, but if they don't find him guilty, then they're going to come after him. They're going to figure out it was him and come after him. So he just has a new baby. He has to make the decision. Do I do the right thing and fight for this guy? Or do I protect myself and let a man go to prison, an innocent man go to prison? Pretty interesting story.
Yeah.
Now, I recommend you don't watch this with anybody who knows anything about how actual courts work, because my wife worked for the courts for many years, and most of the time during the movie, she's, oh, that's not going to happen. That wouldn't happen. They wouldn't do that. So, or because there's a lot of the jurors going out and like doing investigation on their own. That's a big no-no. You can't do that. So she goes, they wouldn't let them do that. And so you got to be careful about that. That being said, she liked it. She thought it was actually pretty good. So it's tense. It's in its style. It's a perfect movie. It's got glorious cinematography. It's got great pacing. It's the kind of film that a veteran would make. And Clint Eastwood is a veteran of movies, if anybody is. And the thing I always loved about Clint Eastwood is that he was so smart. He knew that if I agree to do one of those orangutan movies and make a ton of money for the studio, they'll let me make whatever I want to make next. And then he'd make the movie that he wanted to make, like Bird, for example. They never would have made a movie like Bird if he hadn't decided to do it. Then he goes and does another orangutan movie or another Dirty Harry movie or something along those lines. And then they let him do what he wanted to do. So he was a great director. I'm not saying was, because like I said, the rumor is
Still
that
is.
he's good. Well, the rumor is he's retired.
That's rumor.
So it is a rumor. So he is a great director, and this movie shows it. It's just a slick, really tense Hollywood movie that asks some serious questions too. And the ending is terrific. I won't tell you anything about the ending, but I just recommend that you watch the Juror number 2. It is on HBO Max right now. Here's one reason to watch it. J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
You're in, right? You should be. He's terrific in it as well. Here's Clint and Nicholas Holt sitting there on the set. Clint looks like he's, in business. He looks like John Huston.
Yeah.
It's like John Huston there.
Well, that maybe that'll be his next one.
Maybe.
He'll play John Huston.
Kiefer Sutherland is in it briefly, so it's good to see Kiefer in a movie, and he's terrific in it as well in his short little role there. And of course, we also have Toni Collette, who is in the movie as well, and everybody is just great. Toni Collette plays the DA, and she gets involved as well. So I can't recommend it enough. It's a really good film. It's not a shoot 'em up or anything close to that. It's just a serious drama that, again, asks some serious questions. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. My question.
I'm so glad you stopped saying big question. Okay, go ahead. What is your question?
Okay. It's not really a big question.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted
But
to stop saying
it's a semi-big question.
that. I had to just should have left it alone.
You mentioned Shelley when it comes to watching, whether it's TV shows or movies, about what goes on in a
Yes.
court. Does she like Elsbeth?
No. Nope. That wouldn't happen. Nope. Not possible. That wouldn't happen. Nope.
I love that show.
I know you do. We didn't like it at all. We thought Elsbeth was too cutesy and too. I love the actress. She's great, but we just thought it was too rote, I guess.
Well, you remember the movie and book 12 Angry Men?
Sure. That's one of the greatest movies ever
Oh,
made.
yeah.
And by the way, Juror number 2 emulates that to a certain degree.
Well, there was an episode of Elsbeth where she is put on a jury and she can't get off of it no matter what she tries. Well, you know who the judge is?
J.K. Simmons.
No.
No.
The actor who is her husband in real life.
Oh, that's cool.
And spoiler alert. So put your fingers in your ears. He's the killer.
Oh, wow. The judge is?
Yeah.
Wow, that's not good. See, that's one of the things. I mean, that happens. I get it, but it just seems silly. We love that actress. I can't remember her name, and I apologize for that. But she's terrific. But we just couldn't get into Elsbeth. And that being said, give me all the Matlock you got. Matlock's been great so far. So, but yeah, she and even in Matlock, nope, that wouldn't happen. And she knows. She spent so much time in the courts. She knows what she's talking about, and you realize, and I'm guilty of the same thing. I was in pest control for 12 years, and I'll look at something and they'll be placing a bait station or something somewhere in the background, and I'm on, yeah, they didn't place that right. It's just stuff that you get used to,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the same with cars, I mean, that glaring error in the Scorsese movie where they were talking about his Ford. Carrie Preston is her name from Elsbeth. She is amazing. Both of us caught that.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about, it's a Ford. And we're like, well, why does it say Chevy?
That was so funny.
Yeah. But there's other things, like, for example, Johnny goes to see the Fast and Furious movies and he says, Chargers don't fly. So,
with all that being said, I did enjoy the first one.
I'm sorry.
The first Fast and Furious.
I said I was sorry.
Yeah, well,
I've seen every single one of them, and because they make so much money. I mean, what makes these movies so attractive to an audience? I don't know, because they're so over the top ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Even the first one was over the top ridiculous.
Yes.
Not to the degree what they had what was that? Was it a Chevy Vega? Is that a car?
Yeah, it was.
That went to space. Oh, we just duct taped the windows. Well, come on.
I never saw that one.
Oh my God.
I've only seen I saw that one, and there was one where they showed a Grand Sport Corvette, which there was, I believe, Chevrolet only did, I think it was 5 or 6 of those, a couple of coupes and a couple of roadsters. And it's on a train car, and it gets launched out of the train car into a cavern. And I don't, that was probably, even though it was CGI, blah, 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 blah. I can't get into those.
Well, it's ridiculous.
Shows.
It's just ridiculous.
I don't care who is in it. And Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham.
I know.
I just keep. And I think another reason I don't care for him is either the second or third movie, I think was called Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yes.
No, I was never into drifting cars.
Many people consider that the best movie because it's the most realistic. I don't know if that's true or not.
Maybe I should see it. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, here's the car. You'll have to tell me what kind of car this is, Johnny, because I can't identify it.
That's a Pontiac Fiero.
Okay. But you see they got a jet engine.
Yeah. I had a Pontiac Fiero.
And it's not duct tape that's around the window. I was kidding about that, but it's some kind of armor. Here's what it looks like in space. Come on. Really?
And who launched that into space?
The jet engine.
No. Who were the actors?
I don't remember. Two of the guys were in that car complaining about it the whole time. It's just so, I mean, there's been so many scenes in the Fast and Furious that are ridiculous. The one where Dwayne Johnson pushes the torpedo into the oncoming bad guys. I mean, come on. And the last one ended with these absolutely ridiculous, this is what happened in the last one. I'm not making this up. They're on Hoover Dam. And the bad guys have got him trapped at both ends. He's in the middle, in the Charger on Hoover Dam. So what do you think he does? He drives that damn Charger down the dam. Really? Come on.
Which is the one where I think they're in South America and they're dragging this giant.
Yeah, the big ball. Yeah.
It was a big giant vault.
Yeah, there was a ball too at one point, but I remember the vault. It was square, right? And they're just ridiculous. And maybe that's what people love about them. Maybe they love the fact that they go to these movies and they're so over the top stupid that they enjoy that. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. Juror number 2, however, not stupid, very smart and very entertaining. And I really highly recommend that you check it out because if it is Eastwood's last picture, he went out with it's not a bang because it's not a shoot 'em up, but he went out with style. And I'll give him points for that all the way around. I want to remind you about the fundraiser for First Run, the movie that Johnny and I both appear in. We're not stars. We're background people at best, but we're fun to be in it.
I starred.
No, you didn't.
Well, when I closed my eyes and fell asleep.
That might be it, though. You can go to their GoFundMe page, which is entitled Help Us Finish Our Adventure Comedy Film First Run. I'm sure that if you go to GoFundMe and just type in First Run Film, that you'll find that information. If you're looking at the video here, you can see that it's there's a barcode. You can scan that barcode, and any amount you can donate will help them very much. I'm not getting paid for my gig. Johnny's not getting paid for his gig, so it's not like we're looking for money for us. We're looking for money for the production because we both believe in the script and want to see this movie completed. So if you get an opportunity, donate a couple bucks. Just throw them, lunch money or something. That would be cool.
I did get to munch on a corn burrito.
Cold. Oh no, you said it was actually warm.
It was in the scene. And I don't know what happened to the rest of them that were in that.
Corn burritos. For those of you who don't know, and we realize that this is a Ventura County thing, and people, when they think of corn burritos, they think that you're going to get a burrito filled with corn nuggets, kernels of corn, right? That's not what it is. A corn burrito is basically, and I would be in big trouble for this because I belong to the I Love Corn Burritos group on Facebook. But a corn burrito is basically, nobody get me in trouble for this, a bean taquito. You're not supposed to say bean taquito. You're supposed to call it a corn burrito, or like I said, you can be sanctioned. But anyway, that's all it is. But it was created here in Ventura County, and it's spread out a little bit more. But I mean, we were in Mojave once, and we asked for corn burritos, and the guy looked at us, "What are those?" Really? That's not so far from Ventura County. But corn burritos, we had those for dinner last night. We found a food truck over by the Moose Lodge that had corn burritos. They were excellent too. Anyway, that's why I had to go through that history, because that's many people don't know what a corn burrito is.
The corn burrito that I got to munch on, I don't remember beans, but I remember cheese.
Of course you remember. That's all it is, John. If it didn't have beans and
It had
cheese, it's not a corn burrito.
I don't think it had beans in it. I think the one I
Then you did not eat a corn burrito.
Well, I was in the.
You were acting as you were eating a corn burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to have the beans.
See, I'm an actor. Oh, who did that? Oh,
John Lovitz.
No, not John. Yes, John Lovitz.
And John Lithgow.
And Lithgow, yeah.
Acting brilliant.
That's
good stuff. All right. No show next Saturday because I will be coming home from Laughlin, so I'll miss you all. We'll come back the following week with our What to Look Forward to in 2025 show. We'll go through all the movies that are coming out. Man, we're starting is it season 19? I think it is. It's season 19 starting January. 19 years of this crap.
Oh, I just had a thought.
I doubt it.
A title for an upcoming book by you, because I'm not a writer. Corn burrito.
I will tell you that there is a corn burrito story in the new Brace Heller novel, which is not titled as of yet. But I've got 3 stories.
I told you I'm psychic.
Every Brace Heller book has 3 individual stories in it that intertwine as he solves the cases. In the new book, there's a corn burrito story.
Nice.
So, yeah, I figured, it's Ventura County. I should be honoring Ventura County and my friends in the I Love Corn Burritos group on Facebook. You guys should look into that if you're interested in joining. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great pictures of corn burritos. Makes you hungry for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So we won't see you next week. We'll see you the week after. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for listening. Subscribe if you feel so. Just subscribe anyway. You get email, that tells you there's a new show, and that's pretty much it. But it makes us look better.
As far as us doing a remote from Harbor Cove Cafe, we'll let you know if we decide to have a little contest for at least 1, possibly 2 of our listeners.
John, you need to stop right now because people will stop watching and listening if they think they're going to be on the show with us.
Oh.
We don't want to make that offer. You know what? We'll have Jeffrey Janae come down and join us that day.
There you go.
That we'll have a special guest.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Whenever we figure that out. All right, folks. Again, happy 2025 to everybody. We'll talk about 2025 in the next show. All the great movies that are coming out, and there's some great movies coming out, especially in February and March. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great month for movies. And it's going to there's just tons of great stuff coming out. The 2024 ended with a box office boom. That's good news. People may be finally going to the movies again. I mean, I've been trying to go 2 or 3 times a month if I can, because I just love going to the movies that much. And if we don't see Nosferatu because the wife wants to see it, maybe we'll go see something else. There's plenty. Go see the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh, is that showing here yet?
I don't know. We'll have to look and see. Yeah. I do understand, though, that the Academy Awards are reconsidering it because it was originally under consideration for Best Picture, but then they realized it was Bob Dylan's voice. And they said, maybe it should be in best foreign language. All right, folks. See you in a couple weeks.
Hey, and check out, like I said, check out your local theaters, whether it's a chain theater or a mom and pop theater. Go to the movies, and if there happens to be a working drive-in theater, check that out.
So much fun. One quick thing I want to tell before we get off air here. The novelty popcorn container for Nosferatu was a sarcophagus. So you got this big coffin with your popcorn in it, right? Josh went to the theater. He wanted one so bad. He got the last one that they had at the theater. And the reason he wanted it so bad is because he knew that his cat would love it as a bed. He took it home, put it on the floor. That cat went in there and immediately went to sleep. So his cat now has a Nosferatu bed that she can sleep in.
Does it have a lid that creaks when it opens?
I don't know. It's got a lid, but I'm pretty sure they're not using it.
Then it closes.
We didn't need the sound effects.
Okay, sorry.
All right, see you in a couple weeks, folks.
Hey,
bye.
Hope you had a great Christmas and Happy New Year.
He thinks he has to have the last word every time.
No, wait, what?
That was the last word, but you're not. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.